Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's Harry Brelsford from SMB Nation and Office 365 Nation, coming at you live from the Microsoft Redmond campus in Building 122, deep in the belly of Microsoft OEM. So appreciate you taking time, as always, out of your busy day for the weekly Thursday webinar. Today, I think you're going to really adore what we have to talk about. We're going to talk about the 7-city tour that kicks off in just under 2 weeks concerning Office 365. And I'm going to paint the context of what we're trying to do, why it makes sense to attend, and why it's just overall goodness. Right now, you see the Office 365 tour screen. But before I jump into all that, I just want to take a second to introduce who we are. Most people on the call know SMB Nation, a 15-year-old corporation up here in the Seattle area that was initially dedicated to small business server and then everything SMB. Like you, we have evolved with the times, and I would offer expanded our message to incorporate Office 365. So please launch a browser while you're watching the webinar over on your second screen and go to O365Nation.com. And let me tell you a little bit about our community. So it's kind of deja vu all over again with a couple different twists. We're providing content, advocacy, outreach, research, and I would offer acting as your ombudsman from the community to Microsoft on everything and anything 365. Column 1 of our site, I'm going to scroll down our site a little bit here. So this is sort of our home page. Column 1 is content that we curate from Microsoft feeds. Column 2 is content that we curate from crowdsourcing and different feeds in the community. And then column 3 is content that you can count on each and every day to be unique analysis. So today's blog, I got up pretty early out here on the West Coast and wrote about Office 365 market timing. Let me go back down. Yesterday, I wrote about 365, the ombudsman concept. Prior to that, Message Apps had a rollout for their mailbox search tool. Numbers, Office 365 numbers for MSPs, part 202. You get the point. So love to have you jump on board, bookmark this page. And we're looking to be your go-to resource for all conversations, both Microsoft community and our own analysis each and every day. You can also play in our reindeer game over at LinkedIn with the Office 365 Nation page on LinkedIn. Go ahead and look up and join us, as well as Facebook. So you can join us on the O365 Nation page over on Facebook. And again, enjoy the ride with us. So let's jump right into it. So here's the deal. We pride ourselves and have for over 15 years in being that outside party looking in at Microsoft. That's our reputation. I think we've worked hard to, have a great ethical reputation for our analytical efforts. And so the tour reflects that. We're an independent, and that's a key point, independent Office 365 workshop tour. Now, what we're using the tour to do is build community groups, okay? And we're going to professionally manage these. I'm not really calling them user groups. I'm not really calling them peer groups. It's more that we're going to go ahead and assign some staff time and resources to building a network of community groups that meet quarterly and engage in the Office 365 conversation. Now, the conversation will include MSPs, VARs, VAPs, resellers, consultants, and partners, of course, and that's a large part of our base. I get that. But it also includes IT pros. So I can already tell you with the on the 27th of January up here in Bellevue, we'll talk about that. We have people coming from different organizations that represent not-for-profit, government, enterprise, and so on. And yes, they're part of the Office 365 conversation, and that's distinctly different for us, for us from the old SBS days. In the old SBS days, of course, small business server, let's just be frank, had a licensing limit, ultimately of 75 users. The sweet spot worldwide was 15 users. And after 25 users, quite frankly, in many cases, we started to have different conversations. So 365 kind of spans from consumer all the way through enterprise, government, and education, and SMB, and so on. So you want to, again, on screen number 2, go to O365Tour.SMBNation.com to kind of look at our site. And let's go to the event finder. I'm going to walk you through the site real quick and just kind of tell you what we're doing. Essentially, what we're doing, it is 7 cities at this point. We're looking at adding an 8th city in June. That's Toronto. That's unannounced. But what we're doing is going to NFL cities and putting on a one-day event where we have over 6 hours of academic content. And I want to emphasize that because there's a lot of one-day workshops in the IT field. And folks, I really encourage you to just kind of line them up and look at how much academic content you're getting in what is typically a 10-hour day and for the time that you commit versus vendor speeches and sponsor speeches and so on. And I'm going to talk to that in a minute, but we pride ourselves in over 60%, or easily 60%, if not 75% of our time is academic content, followed by some breaks and then some community sponsor speeches. Let's line up the cities. Bellevue coming into the month on the 27th. 2 days later, the LA area. Now, people are saying LA doesn't have a football team. I know that. So we're saying the San Diego Chargers, since we're down in Orange County, we can go ahead and enjoy defining the SMSA a little bit to include LA and San Diego. There's our NFL team. I'm sorry, Silicon Valley on the 29th with the 49ers and the Oakland Raiders. I got ahead of myself. 2 days later, Silicon Valley. A month later, a month later in February, we have LA. I've already told my NFL joke. Followed by, about a month later, we have New York, a couple of teams out there, as we know, followed by Chicago in mid-April, Dallas on April 30th, and then finally, scrolling further down, Washington, D.C. on May 14th. Now, again, Toronto, the stars are starting to align with Toronto for June. And go ahead and request a city if you don't see it. We have had multiple requests for Philadelphia. If our budget and funding allows, we are happy to add more of these community meetings that are academic in nature, primarily technical, some business conversations surrounding Office 365. By the way, be sure to use the chat feature to ask your questions, and we'll answer those at the end. Registration. If we click on the registration page, you can go ahead and start the process to register for the different cities that we're offering. There's also a letter to your boss to justify your attendance. We found that as a need in a lot of different cases. And then with the registration, we're happy to offer the registration complimentary for you to attend this. And we do it for a couple of reasons. One is we want to grow we want you to attend. The second reason is that you can always attend these type of events complimentary. There's going to be other motions in the Office 365 Nation that we will charge for. We'll explain that at the event, but that's completely optional if you want to have a richer and deeper engagement with us. So registration page is where you register, and again, keep an eye out on how you can register for free. Let's go to the all-important agenda, the content. So, content's lined up by city. I'm going to go to Bellevue. First show coming up. By the way, the attendance is super strong. Our goal is 100 attendees per city. I'm about 10 people short in Bellevue and 2 weeks out. So if you're in the area, please sign up. Get us over 100. Love to have more, but clearly, we've captured a popular conversation in the community. And there we go. So the conversations that we'll have Grant Thompson and Melanie Goss are our primary speakers. So with Grant Thompson, we have Office 365 click-to-run deployment. We have the all-popular line of business apps and integration conversation. We have Melanie bringing up Office 365 licensing. Grant Thompson taking on one of the top issues of the day with the migration conversation. The next one is surprisingly strong, as I've surveyed the community about what people are talking about and how they're interacting with Office 365. We have SharePoint, very popular. And then in the evening, and this is a key point, I'll get to the evening in a minute. The conversations I just showed you, and I'm going to show you the calendar that kind of lays it out, but the conversations that I just showed you relate to anybody who uses Office 365 except consumer. So again, that could be SMB, and within SMB, that could be the SMB owner and the SMB, let's just settle on the word MSP. It could be government, it could be not-for-profit, it could be education, and it could be enterprise. Those speeches apply to everybody. Then in the last speech in the evening, we have making money with clients on Office 365. So that's clearly going to relate to the MSP crowd. And we just want to respect the fact that we'll have a mixed audience, and the people that are not consultants or MSPs may not have a need for that speech. Sprinkled in the course of the day are some community sponsor speeches. So we have AppRiver, a hoster, with Scott Paul talking why partners drive customer satisfaction, modern malware, and next generation endpoint security. We have the easiest way to Office 365, and we have powerfully simple ways to earn more revenue from your Office 365 customers. Now, oftentimes in the community, people will ask, what is the role of the sponsors and the supporters of the nation? And I'll talk more about that in a minute, because I think you'll agree with me that they're the third leg of the stool. Let's talk about the speakers. We have myself, Harry Brelsford, best known for SMB Nation, now having a conversation at 365 Nation. Melanie Goss, president of Centerpoint Solutions out of the East Coast, New York area, has a thriving SharePoint practice, training practice, and hosts the popular Microsoft Princess radio show on Tuesdays. We have Scott Paul from AppRiver, Tim Sheehan from WebRoot, Grant Thompson, one of our academic speakers of MG Technology. Now, what's interesting about Grant is not only Melanie and Grant independent of Microsoft, but Grant is actually a hoster, and at some level can really take an outsider looking in view at Office 365, because his company offers hosted exchange and other hosted products. So he's got a very interesting perspective, highly regarded speaker. Dave Waldrop, former Microsoft executive, and so on and so on. Let's talk about our sponsors. So, with the sponsors, I think the key point here is we build a community. D&H, eFolder, Whir, AppRiver, Attached Apps, Skykick, WebRoot, and a few more to be announced. With the sponsors, I think the key point to understand is that we truly believe the sponsors are the third leg of the stool. So what we're saying is that we have community meetings surrounding Office 365 as we embark on a decade-long journey. We want them to be the third leg of the stool. So the first leg of the stool would be the nation, O365 Nation. The second leg of the stool would be you, the members, the attendees, the participants. And the third leg of the stool is the sponsors. Now, again, I want to emphasize this. What's really cool with sponsors is a lot of these people are just going to market. They're ISVs and OEMs, and they're going to market in a 365 motion. And they can really benefit from engaging with you in a focus group capacity to help shape their product in particular, and maybe their messaging on a secondary basis. If you would like to become a sponsor, the door is always open, and click at the bottom of this page. So that's kind of it in a nutshell in terms of what we're doing. And with that said, please use the chat feature to ask your questions. I just wanted to take a few minutes today to walk you through what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how we're doing it. I've talked to you about basically the 411, the who, which is Office 365 Nation, the what, which are these academic community meetings based on content, the why, because this is an emerging technology, we're establishing the paradigm, the how, so I'm going to offer that we have independent academic speakers as well as community speakers delivering the content. We talked about the where in terms of the 7 cities, and then we talked about the when in terms of the schedule. So it all starts on the 27th in Bellevue, Washington, and then it proceeds down to the Silicon Valley on the 29th of January, just a couple weeks from now when I'm recording this, followed by a month later down in Southern California, and then we move across the country. It all starts at O365Tour.SMBNation.com, or you can always find a link off at SMBNation.com or O365Nation.com. Looks like the deck is clear, so I really appreciate your time today attending, and we look forward to seeing you on the tour in the first half of 2015 and therefore and beyond. If you have any questions, again, my name is Harry Brelsford. I can be reached directly at 206-201-2944 or harryb@O365Nation.com. Folks, have a great day, and we'll see you at our Office 365 community meetings. Bye-bye.